and runway 23 ready for departure, departing straight out.
Old Guy Gaming Network 1068103068 altimeter 29.9 and 281 entry. Departing straight out approved. Cleared for takeoff runway 23.
Cleared for takeoff runway 23 Old Guy Gaming Network 1068103068.
Welcome to Old Guy Gaming Network, and today I will be reviewing a free add-on that became available today, the German Heinkel HE-162 Volksjäger, or People's Fighter. The HE-162 was a project of the Emergency Fighter Program design competition, and it was a German single-engine, jet-powered fighter aircraft fielded by the Luftwaffe in World War II. It was designed to be built quickly and made primarily of wood, as metals were in very short supply and prioritized for other aircraft. The Volksjäger was the Reich Air Ministry's official name for the government design program competition won by the HE-162 design. Other names given to the plane include Salamander, which was the code name of its wing construction program, and Spatz, which is German for sparrow, which was given to the plane by the Heinkel aviation firm. The aircraft itself first flew on December 6, 1944, and was introduced into service in January 1945, so it basically only flew in the last 4 months of the war. Approximately 320 were built. Now, like I said, this is a free aircraft you can download off flightsim.to. It's created by Fly Navy and BKVR. They've been working on it for a while. I've been kind of following it on YouTube, and he actually sent me a message today letting me know that it was available for download. If you are a military aviation junkie, or just a history guy like I am, you'll understand sort of the significance of this aircraft and why I can't wait to fly it. Now, there's only a few of these left in the world. I actually did see they have one down at the Dulles annex of the National Air and Space Museum, and so yeah, I actually have seen one, a real one. But what a crazy idea! As the war really began to turn bad for the Germans, they were trying to come up with all these wonder weapons to change the tide of the war. And this aircraft is supposed to be able to be cheap, number one, easily manufactured by semi-skilled and unskilled labor. Used materials like wood and glue that were not being used for other aircraft like the ME-262 and other frontline aircraft. It was supposed to be incredibly simple to fly, meaning someone with just a rudimentary amount of flight training should have been able to get in this thing and fly it and be effective. I think was a little bit wishful thinking, but whatever. It obviously had one crew. The aircraft itself was 29 feet 8 inches long, or 9 meters, or 9.05 meters. It had a wingspan of 23 feet 7 inches, or 7.2 meters. It had a height of 8 feet 6 inches, or 2.6 meters. Wing area was 120.1 square feet, or 11.16 meters squared. Empty weight was only 3,660 pounds, or 1,660 kilograms. Its max takeoff weight was 6,173 pounds, or 2,800 kilograms. Its fuel capacity was 184 gallons, or 695 liters. It was powered by a BMW 109-003 turbojet, generating 1,760 pounds of thrust. Now, yeah, as part of the requirement, this is a lower thrust variant of the engines used in, the ME-262, or there was a Junkers bomber out there. It escapes me which one, but there were two other jet aircraft that were, needed, the more powerful engines. This was a lower thrust variant, so they didn't have to compete. Now, this thing was still, with just one engine, because it was so light, still had excellent performance. That had a maximum speed of 490 miles an hour, or 790 kilometers at sea level. 520 miles per hour, or 840 kilometers at 20,000 feet, 6,000 meters. Or 550 miles an hour, or 890 kilometers an hour at sea level with emergency boosted thrust. And then 562 miles an hour, or 905 kilometers an hour at 20,000 feet with emergency boosted thrust. It had a range of 526 nautical miles, or 975 kilometers, with a service ceiling of 39,000 feet, or 12,000 meters. Rate of climb of 4,610 feet per minute, or 23.42 meters per second. And then its thrust to weight ratio was 0.35, with normal thrust and 0.41 with emergency boosted thrust. It was armed with either two 20mm MG 151/20 autocannons with 120 rounds per gun, or two 30mm Mark 108 cannons with 50 rounds per gun. All right, let's take a look in the cockpit real quick. All right, take a look at our instrument panel. Obviously, we have our turn indicator. We have our speed indicator in kilometers per hour. This is our barometer, rate of climb, rate of sink. This is oil and fuel pressure, fuel quantity. That's our clock. That's our magnetic compass, our altimeter. This is inoperative. Now, that's our left gear indicator, our right gear indicator. When you retract the gear, these things will come all the way back. And then through the nose, there was a glass window here where the pilot could observe the nose wheel, whether or not it came up. I was going to say that is our flaps. That is to open the cockpit. And then, that is our oxygen indicator, but it is currently inoperative. All right. Now, that outside modeling itself is absolutely beautiful. The interesting thing is, when you're going down the runway, you've got to put a substantial amount of left rudder in there. I wonder if that's just a glitch in the. So you can see. Let's hit gear. Raise our flaps. Now, the outside modeling is absolutely gorgeous. My only, and that's a very minor criticism, is the engine effects. I don't think the purple and the orange flames were necessary, but, you know, I've never seen one of these fly, so that may, you know, they may have had flames coming out of the engine. I don't know. Typically, unless it's an afterburner, a jet engine, you really don't see that kind of thing, but, you know, whatever. It's a very minor criticism. Now, the view from inside the cockpit is phenomenal.
Old Guy Daily Network 1068103068 leaving my airspace. Frequency change approved.
Now, the thing to remember too is, now I don't know if it is absolute accurate, you know, flight model, whatever, I don't know. But you can't really yank and bank with this thing. I attribute that to the fact that, you know, hey, it's you know, it's made out of wood and glue. It's made out of wood and glue, so yeah, you're not gonna yank and bank on this thing because you will break it. I'm just gonna fly out to Baltimore real quick. Now, like I said, the view from inside the cockpit is great. I can only imagine, you know, in combat conditions.
Old Guy Daily Network 1068103068 acknowledge last transmission.
I can only imagine in, you know, combat conditions, you know, having a, you know, absolute great view, with the exception of, you know, obviously directly behind you, not so much, but to the front, you know, ahead and, you know, above.
Old Guy Daily Network 1068103068. Did you hear my last transmission?
Yeah, I heard you, but I'm choosing to ignore you at this point. That's weird. I usually...
Old Guy Daily Network 1068103068. ATC services terminated. Good day.
Tell you, that's weird with the compass being right there. How the hell did the pilot know where he was going? But yeah, so the fact that this is a free aircraft, the exterior modeling is absolutely beautiful. You know, the interior views are great. If you are a military, you know, if you're a history guy, you know, both military and just general history and an aviation buff, you know, I can't recommend this enough. This should be an easy no-brainer to download and add to your existing fleet of aircraft. The one thing I've always wondered is, so, you know, I'm flying multiplayer. Obviously, you can see other players around me. will they see my aircraft as the HE-162, or does the computer just substitute some sort of generic airframe in? Just, do you think it would be cool, just fly by somebody who didn't know this was in the game, who knew what it was? Now, she handles really nice. Said, in turns, you just have to be real careful on the stick. You pull too tight, you will break her. I like my guy in his Luftwaffe uniform. It does come with 4 different liveries. One, I think, being like a Russian captured variant, the other being a French captured. There's a prototype paint job. So what I like about her is if I want to boogie out to Baltimore for just a quick VFR and fly around the city, I can certainly get there a whole lot quicker in this thing than I can in a 152 or the Heinkel HE-162 that I typically fly. She's really, really, really easy to handle. Very smooth and responsive. Now, obviously, you're just going to be doing VFR. There's no civilian navigation equipment. I always wonder, why was one side green, one side brown? There's Highway 70. Normally if I'm VFRing out to Baltimore, I just follow Highway 70 from Frederick all the way out to Baltimore. And flying around, I admit I wound up losing the highway. I always wonder if the Germans wouldn't have been so delusional and realized the situation that they were in. If they, imagine if they would have pushed forward with this. Heinkel had been working on designs like this for quite a while. And there's a reason why that, from being awarded the contract to first flight was less than 90 days is because, like I said, they'd been working on various prototypes for a while. But if the Germans would have put that call out in 1942 and say by the January 1st of 1943, these things would have been flying. I wonder if they could have impacted the war any different, because, with two 30-millimeter guns, this thing would have been a hell of a bomber swatter. She could have just, boom and zoom, flown up above the bomber formations, steep dive, with two 30-millimeter guns, a very, very short burst is going to take down a B-17. She could fly through the formation. There would be literally nothing the escorting fighters could do. They couldn't catch her. And then they go low, then they would have so much airspeed built up, and then they could turn around and go into a power climb. And, the piston fighters would have no shot at keeping up. Could have flown right back up, turn around, come back down, another boom and zoom, and, could have taken a unbelievable toll on bombers, and, maybe they would have stopped, daylight bombing raids over Germany due to unsustainable losses. Who knows? Here we are in Baltimore. Gonna gently nose over on the stick. Now she's fun because you can really get her going. Fly over Fort McHenry. So I'd like to give my congratulations to the two guys who, like I said, developed this aircraft for Flight Simulator. I know they put a lot of work into modeling her and getting her right, and they've absolutely done a wonderful job. Shoot, it's better than some of the premium aircraft, some of the payware aircraft that you get out there. So I'll include the link to download this aircraft in the video description. Please comment below and like and subscribe. And until next time, have a wonderful evening.